Daz Dillinger, welcome back to Vlad TV.
I'm here.
Okay, so before we go back, I want to dive into your recent issue you've been having with Snoop.
I love Snoop, you know what I mean? Snoop my cousin, but who Snoop get E1 from? Who Snoop get Death Row from?
Was it E1?
E1 and Capitol Records. And he doing the same shit Suge Knight was doing. He don't want to give up the royalties. See, they give us all the money. Suge used to cut all the checks and shit, but when all the checks run out, what we gonna be worried about? The royalties. Snoop got all the royalties. He don't want to give them to me. I gotta take his ass to court. That's my cousin. I love him, but ta-da! You know what I mean? I gotta take his ass to court. You know what I mean? He don't want to cough up them royalties. We gotta go to court. You know what I mean? It's like you could keep all the little checks and shit. I want the royalties. I wrote Poetic Justice and produced that shit. I wrote Doggy Style, produced that shit. The Chronic, Dog Food. He got all my royalties.
Okay, but at one point, I guess all the Death Row artists were on a monthly salary, correct?
Yeah, Snoop was getting 50,000. You know what I mean? I was getting 30,000. Miss Chalet was getting 40,000. Miss Chalet was getting more than me. Because Miss Chalet was fucking Suge Knight, you know what I mean? She was fucking Suge Knight, you know what I mean? So she getting more than the nigga producing everything. You know what I mean? Yeah, nah, we was getting them little monthly checks. Reggie Wright, dumbass, he was trying to misarrange the checks and shit, you know what I mean? Change the names on the motherfuckers and shit, you know what I mean? But yeah, nah, we was getting paid. But like I said, when all that money dry up, what we looking at? The royalties.
Right, because after Tupac died, and I think around that time Suge went to jail, you actually went into the offices and took a whole bunch of, I guess, unreleased music and equipment.
Yeah, now Reggie Wright running Death Row, you know what I mean? Tupac got killed, Suge locked up, so now Reggie Wright running that shit, you know what I mean? So I pop up in the studio like, ta-da! You know what I mean? Reggie, where all my shit at? You know what I mean? He get up out the way. His punk ass don't know nothing about the cassettes, the unreleased shit, the vinyls. He don't know nothing about none of that shit, you know what I mean? So he get up out my way. I take my Tupac unreleased shit, you know what I mean? That came out on the Last of the Pound tape, you know what I mean? I took the Outlaw shit, you know what I mean? I had some shit with Gaddafi and Napoleon, you know what I mean? I took our shit, Snoop, Daz, Corrupt, Dog Pound. I took our shit. I took all that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, from Suge Knight punk ass. You know what I mean?